The Toyota Chaser is here in Forza Horizon 5. As ever with any brand new addition to the game, it's available for completing 20 points of this week's festival playlist, which is the winter season. As you can see, I've completed 22 points by completing the trial, the Joe C event lab, the photo challenge, hide and seek collectibles, and the 2 monthly rivals at the beginning of the series. So, I know the Chaser was one of the highest requested cars to be added to Forza Horizon 5, and actually any Forza game for quite a while now, but to me, I just think it's a rather boring 90s saloon, to be honest. I don't really get it. Yes, it has a decent amount of power. This particular one, I think, has a 1JZ engine, which puts out 276 brake horsepowers, although I'm not sure if that's kind of, in reality, a bit of a low estimate because of Japanese restrictions. But anyway, in Forza, that's what it puts out. So it's not too bad on speed, but it is a big saloon, so it does still weigh 1.5 tons. So it's not going to break any speed records. Here in Forza, then, it's rated in C-Class at 597 overall. Interestingly though, its speedometer in here only goes up to 180 kilometers, which is, give or take, 100 miles per hour. However, the car does north of 150. So, yeah, not quite sure what that's all about. I think in Japan, cars have, I don't know if they have speed limiters or if they just have a thing that tells you if you're speeding, but I think maybe their speedometers are just set up like that. So from standard, we obtained the car in this black and silver livery, which is very reminiscent of that Mercedes we got not that long ago. There are only 3 manufacturer, well, not even really colours. There's black, white, and silver. So yeah, it's not the most exciting choice. Let's go for white for now. There are advanced painting options, and as you'd expect, that's just, well, the body and the sills. So I would probably leave that silver. Maybe Group 1 should be something bright and interesting. You could probably make something quite cool with something. So, we know from when we got the information for this update that there's some rather interesting customization for the Chaser. First though, let's quickly check how much horsepower we can get out of the standard engine, and what engine swaps are available. So, I've applied all of the engine upgrade parts to the standard engine, and not done any other modifications to the car, and as you can see, we now have 1,141 horsepower, so not too bad, really. If we then head over to platform and handling and go for full weight reduction, with standard engine fully upgraded, we can get weight down to 1,253 kilos, which is still a little heavier than I'd have liked, to be honest, and we're up in A-Class with all of that power. Over in engine swaps, we have a 4-litre V8, a 1.6-litre inline 4-turbo rally, a racing V12, a racing 3-litre inline 6-turbo, and a 5-litre V10. So let's quickly throw this in and see what we can do with that. Twin turbo it. 1,191 horsepower is attainable with the V12, so that's slightly more than the standard engine. I didn't try doing an aspiration conversion on the standard engine though, so I'm not sure if that's possible. So, standard engine with the single turbo and then fully upgraded is 1,209 brake horsepower. So I think that's the most power you're going to be able to get out of this thing. So for the time being, I'm going to leave that much power in it and make a bit of an insane car with, of course, if you haven't seen this, then yeah, it's quite interesting. This is a Forza made kit, I believe, not associated with any particular brand, and it's got these sort of openy bits at the back. I kind of don't like how it covers the rear door handles, but I mean, we've got to at least try it with this on for something, right? And yeah, it comes with a table attached to its underside. Of course it does. There are also, of course, your drivetrain swaps, so you could make it all-wheel drive, but that puts it into S1. And then there is Forza Aero or a wing delete. You can also put front Forza Aero on if you don't have the wide body kit, but that option's gone now. Apart from that, we don't have track width options, but that's probably because I've put the kit on. Everything else, though, is kind of as you'd expect. So this car is probably actually most popular with going sideways enthusiasts. So, as well as that many horsepower set of upgrades, I've of course left the wide body on, but put it on drift tyres and drift suspension. I haven't done anything else, and I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to tuning, so I haven't bothered. And now I'm going to attempt some drifting, which I haven't done in this game since it came out, pretty much. No, it's not going to be a million. Oh, I was kind of hoping for 1,000,000 points. Although my personal best is just over that. But anyway, 960,000. Haven't done drifting for a while. Thought it might be a bit of fun. And, well, that's kind of what this car's for, isn't it? So at this point I went and applied a B-Class tune from VNX Let's that puts power up to 351 brake horsepower and brings weight down to 1,219 kilos, but interestingly it retained the standard 4-speed automatic gearbox. I then headed into some Horizon Open, joining for the first race of an adventure at the Aerodromo Sprint, where I was overcautious into the first corner and found myself last, but was then able to send it past a Alfa Romeo recovering from a slight accident, promoting myself into second place, behind an Mustang, which the Toyota spent much of the remainder of the race chasing, eventually getting past and winning the first race. Second up was the Reservorio Sprint, which was off to a decent start, with only that same Mustang ahead on that first straight, the Toyota giving chase right behind. The Ford then went slightly too deep into the first corner though, and I found myself in the lead once again. For the rest of the race, the Mustang was chasing the Toyota, however I extended my lead and ended up winning quite comfortably by the end. Finally, it was off to the Tierra Prospera circuit, where there was finally another racer in a chaser. The other one though had a wide body, and Forza Aero. Anyway, they stayed chasing me for the first lap or so, but then I gradually pulled away, again winning the race by quite a comfortable margin, making it a clean sweep of victories in this set of races. I would love to say that that was down to the car or my driving, but honestly there weren't really many other cars competing, and none of them were particularly competitive competitors. Having said that, I do think that this is a decent car in B-Class from my experience so far, and it is a nice thing to drive, so I'll be keeping this tune applied at least for the time being. And that is going to do it for today's video, taking a very first look at the Toyota Chaser here in Forza Horizon 5, and although personally I don't think it's a terribly exciting car, I know it does have a massive following, particularly amongst drifting enthusiasts, so I can see why it was highly requested, and, well, to be honest, it is good to see it here in the game, given quite how much of a following it does have. It does have some rather cool customization in the form of that wide body kit, but yeah, that's kind of all that there is that's unique about it, but yeah, quite a wild kit that they've clearly gone in and made, and when I raced it in B-Class with the tune applied, it was pretty competitive online, although not necessarily against that many other vehicles. So I probably will leave this tune on it for a little longer and try it in some more online racing in the future. For now though, that is going to be all, so let me know your thoughts on this brand new car. But for today's video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with the next one very soon.